Hey friends, I am doing a live broadcast interview right now, but we're having a little bit of technical trouble over on Jessica's page, so we are jumping onto my broadcast to see if we have the ability to hear each other over here. So thanks so much for joining us. Give us just a minute as we wait for Jessica to come and join us, because we are going to be doing a live interview right here on Instagram Live. Woohoo, it's going to be so much fun. But we are just having a little bit of tech trouble, so bear with me. If you've got questions, store those up for just a minute. I'm not going to have you ask them yet, because we want to make sure the audio is working, and I don't want to lose your questions if for some reason we have to close this down. But if you have questions for me, store those up. In just a minute, we're going to go ahead and we are going to jump into this interview if we can get the technology working correctly. Unfortunately, every once in a while, we will go live and we'll have a little bit of a sound snafu and we won't be able to hear each other. And so we are just going to attempt to make this happen. Now, she is here. Her handle is the Mortal Jessica, and it is not allowing me to, maybe it is. Let me try this. There we go. And I'm just going to send you that request. And let's see, unable to join. Well, it is saying that you are unable to join right now. So maybe you can request that if that button popped up for you. I'm wondering if perhaps it's the connection strength that we're having just a little bit of trouble connecting the two of us together. So I'm going to give it just a second, guys, as we are waiting to see. We've got a request, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to view that, and I'm going to go live, and let's see if that is going to pull it up for us. Hey, root for us down in those comments. Give us a little bit of love, a little bit of hearts. And
I can hear you.
And I can hear you!
Thank God.
Yes! All right.
Okay.
Perfect.
Finally. I think it's just on my end. It was like where the rain is, like it just started having a thunderstorm here, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, where are you from that you've got storms? Because I've got them all day, too.
I'm in Kentucky.
Oh, okay, I'm up in Pennsylvania. It's kind of been, it was like this morning, but then it's brighter now, so I'm actually okay right now. But
yeah,
definitely messes with it.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Hello, person. I don't know you, but hi.
He's one of mine.
Yeah.
So let me let you take over and you intro this however you want.
Okay.
And the show's yours.
Okay, thank you. So this is k.m. Robinson, everybody. I've known her for a couple years. I was in part of her, like, a blogging class. I think that's what it was. I'm not entirely sure.
Yep, it was a blog class back in the day.
Yeah, because I had just started my blog and everything, and I had no idea how to work it, and so I was like, I'm gonna join this, and you were really helpful. Like, it's been great so far.
I'm glad you enjoyed it. I'm glad you're doing so well.
Yeah, like, it's getting a lot better. But, anyways, I just have some questions, so I figured I'd just ask those.
Absolutely.
Okay. So, what are some books or authors that have inspired you?
Oh, gosh, that's a very long list. It's a very, very long list. I have so many great author friends that I just absolutely adore, and they are so inspiring. I will say probably what kickstarted me into writing was that I had been reading some books. You know, I had jumped in with Hunger Games and Divergent, and that really started off my love for young adult books. But then I started reading The Selection by Kara Cass, and when I finished that book, I was looking around for other books similar to that, and I had no idea how to search for books back in the day. This was kind of like, oh, Amazon, it's newer to me. And so I ended up writing my own because I couldn't find one that I liked. So that was very, very much something that kickstarted my own writing, and then I got dragged into the world of actually being a professional. So definitely Kara Cass. I love Suzanne Collins, Veronica Roth, and then I've got a whole bunch of author friends who kind of paved the way for me and taught me before I jumped into being an author what it's to be an author. So Jennifer Ann Davis, Sherry Ficklin, Lisa Brown Roberts, Pintip Dunn, so many great authors that really.
I love Jennifer. She's such a good. Yeah.
She's such a sweetheart, and her books are so good too. I know she's doing so well right now.
Yeah. Where'd it go?
Hey guys, thanks for joining, by the way. I'm seeing you down in the comments. We've got people from Pennsylvania, and it's hot outside. Yes, it is hot outside here.
It's hot outside everywhere right now. It's summer.
That is true. That is very true.
Yeah. I think it's like 90 degrees here right now, maybe.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah, I think around there, up where I am in Pennsylvania, up in the northeastern corner. Where are you?
Yeah.
I can't. Your name went up in the comments for me, so I can't see you. But tell me where in Pennsylvania you're from while we're chatting and answering our next question.
Yeah. So you write a lot of retellings, like the Golden Trilogy. That's a Goldilocks retelling. So what is really special about that genre to you?
I love retellings. Ever since I was a little girl, I wanted to know the real story behind the story. So I think when I was in elementary school, I read a story that was something along the lines of the true story of the Big Bad Wolf and the Three Little Pigs. I'm not sure the wording on that title. I really should look that up. But it told about this story how the Big Bad Wolf was not actually a villain, and it really was the Three Little Pigs kind of being jerks. And I loved that twist on the story. And so ever since I was little, I kind of looked for, well, what is the alternate version of this? Is the villain really bad? Is the hero really good? What was the hero really doing there? So when I started writing my own stories, I was kind of looking for those twists. Why was Goldilocks in that house? Well, she was sent on a mission to destroy the bear family. Why was Sleeping Beauty locked into this eternal sleep? Well, in my story, she's actually locked inside of a virtual reality world and she can't wake up because she's trapped in this game. Why was Little Miss Muppet so scared of the spider? Well, in my story, they're hackers and he's on the opposite team and he's been harassing her for a very long time. And so when he shows up in her life, she's not a happy camper about it. So I kind of like looking at those twists and saying, what is the real story here? How can I make this different? How can I twist this up? So I love stories, whether they're mine or whether they're other people's, that take that new and exciting look on stories and twist it into a retelling.
Oh yeah, like I've read a lot of Alice in Wonderland retellings because I feel like that's like the big thing now, and a lot of those are really good. Like where they twist everything and it's like she's a psychopath and weird things.
Yeah, I have a friend, her name is J.M. Sullivan, and she has an Alice retelling that is about to be relaunched. And it is kind of like Alice in Wonderland zombie style, but not zombies exactly. So
Yeah.
more like a plague. And
Yeah,
it's so dang good. If you guys have not heard of it yet, look up Alice. It's the Wonderland Chronicles by J.M. Sullivan, and that is relaunching in a few months, I think.
Ooh, I will look that up. That sounds so cool.
I'll DM it to you later. It's actually really good.
Okay.
She had it out, and then she got her rights back and signed with another publisher, and it's coming out in the next few months. So it's going to be good.
Okay, that's really cool. So do you have like a set schedule when you're writing?
I'm a little bit of a crazy writer. I write a lot really fast. So I try to stick to schedules, but when I write, I just kind of binge write. So I will plan 2 weeks of my life, and I will knock out an entire book in those 2 weeks. And so with my Jack Frost retelling, I actually, back in January, wrote that in 9.5 days. And it's like 75,000 words, 76,000 words. I know, it's crazy. And so I just sit there and I just write. Don't do anything else. Don't talk to me. I'm going to eat with one hand, type with the other hand. I'm going to get this done. So I definitely, I plan it into my schedule, but I don't necessarily do it every single day because I have my other businesses that I run too. So I'll binge my writing, finish the book, do my other job for a couple of weeks, then write another book, kind of a deal.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So do you outline too, or just basically just go with it?
Sometimes. I usually have a pretty good idea of where I'm going for the first book. So I'll know the beginning, I'll know some of the middle stuff, and I'll definitely know the end. I always know my ends. And so if I have a pretty good idea of where I'm going, I just kind of run with it. If I'm at a point where I feel like I'm just overwhelmed, I've got a lot going on, I don't necessarily have time to just kind of figure my way out through it, I will sit there and say, okay, we need this, and this. Get it done in this time frame, and then you can move on. So for the most part, I do what they call pantsing it, and I make it up as I go. But I do also do a little bit of plotting, depending on whether my mindset needs that or not.
Yeah. I've tried doing that before, and it's like, I can't really outline, because it's like, I have what I want to do, and I'm like, I just want to run with it, and
right?
not have to, like, sit there and outline.
And I feel like I don't know about with you, but with me, my characters sometimes take over and they're like, no, 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 we're going this way and we're doing this. And you're writing me into this book. I know I was supposed to have 5 lines, but I'm really a main character. You're writing me into this.
Oh, yeah.
things. So at that point, do I outline and then just scrap the whole thing? I feel like that's kind of a waste of my time. So I don't know. I feel like, I guess if I'm plotting things, it's usually books 2 and 3 as opposed to book.
Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah. So what's the hardest thing according to you, like, about writing?
Oh gosh, hardest thing. Killing characters. I do that a lot. I hurt my babies a lot, which I also delight in. So it's a horrible thing, but I also love it because I know I'm going to make people cry and people very mad at me, and I'm going to get lots of fun direct messages from people. But it's definitely a little bit hard to kind of torture some of my babies, because I get mean and I describe it. So
So you do get a lot of weird messages.
I do. I do. I actually, when my fans read my Jaded series, they had to form an emotional support group at the end of it. So, and that still exists to today.
Oh my God.
It's a bit of an emotional roller coaster. People have kind of called it the YA dystopian Mr. and Mrs. Smith, because you never know who's going to kill each other in this forced relationship. It's pretty fun. So.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, by the way, people, there's going to be giveaways.
Yeah, if you have us, guys, there's giveaways. We're giving out, I can hold these up. We're giving out an ebook copy of Jaded, if you are here with us live, so leave lots of fun questions for those. And we're also giving out an ebook copy of the Siren War Saga, which is my mermaid story. So lots of things here. And you've got a Rafflecopter going, right?
Yeah, I've got one for each, so.
Awesome. So she's got Rafflecopters going. If you are here on our rebroadcast, check those out first.
Yeah.
Win those too.
Yeah, those will run until next Friday. I let them run for a week.
Perfect.
Just in case. So, yeah, if you guys want to win those, you can just, I don't entirely know how they do that. We'll figure it out.
I'll talk to you about it after.
Okay.
I just started doing them too. I had some giveaways over the last 2 weeks, and I was literally learning it last week. So I'll tell you what I've learned.
Okay. I need help.
I checked on our comments real quick. Our friend is from Montoursville, so that's actually not too far from me. I'm up near Scranton, Holmesdale area. Fun times.
That's cool. So can you maybe explain, like, your publishing process, I guess?
Publishing process, like how I go about publishing my books?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I write a lot of books, and I write them really fast. And then we go through the typical editing process, and we have to go through the process of doing covers and interior formatting, and then we put them out. And it's lots and lots of fun. I actually work with a couple of different places, so I'm kind of a hybrid author. So I do some traditional publishing and some indie publishing. And so some of it is through a co-op, which is really great. We've got a lot of really great authors working together in multiple co-ops that I'm in. And then we've got the traditional side of it as well. So lots of fun.
Okay. So, like, how does indie publishing work?
Well, it's different for everybody. For me and my journey, I'm doing that co-op. And so within a co-op, what happens is it's a group or a collection of authors in very similar genres that come together to support each other. So we function as a traditional publisher. Everything we do is presented as a traditional publisher, but we are in charge of our own stuff. So I'm in charge of getting all of my book stuff handled, and I get to keep all of my royalties. It's an amazing thing.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
I feel like that'd be interesting. Like, I know, like, a lot of people go indie publishing and they just, like, it's like they'll write a book within like a week or something, and then it'll just come out, and I'm like, whoa.
Guys, I've actually done the surprise book drops before. I've teared up with a couple of friends of mine, and we've hit #1 bestseller in our categories. So.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So for those of you that don't know me and you're not familiar with me, I've actually had my Golden Trilogy, my first book in the Golden series. This hit #7 in the entire Amazon store. So not category, not anything else, the entire store, every single book in existence on Amazon, #7. And so that was pretty dang awesome. And then I've hit #1 in my categories for 3 or 4 books. something like that. And some of them were actually surprise launches, so I didn't tell anybody that they were coming out. And we just said, hey, surprise, I'm releasing a book, and my friend is releasing a book same day. We both hit #1 in our categories, and we're bestsellers, so it's pretty fun. It was just kind of a surprise release.
That is awesome.
Right? So if you, and I highly encourage indie publishing, because if you know what you're doing, you can do really, really well. You can hit bestseller, you can do all sorts of things. Most of the people I know are actually in indie publishing, and they are more than traditional publishing. So you wouldn't think, but it's a thing. It's pretty dang cool. I personally, cool. I'm quite jealous of a couple of the people who are a bit further along in their journey than me, because they are making a lot of money doing really well. I aspire to be these fabulous people.
Yeah. One of my author friends, she's like, I think she's doing like really good right now, because she just doesn't really she just puts all her books out like on her own by herself.
Yeah.
And she has so many.
Yep.
And yeah, she was like she was going through some stuff, but now it's like she's back up at like Amazon bestseller, and I'm like, you go, girl.
Yeah. It's amazing, because when you're indie, you don't have all of the restrictions that some traditional publishers do. So you can put things out faster, and you can put things out in a different way, and you can market them in a different way. And that goes over really, really well within this industry, which sounds like it wouldn't, but it really does.
Yeah, because you can market it like your own way and not have to worry about all the restrictions and everything. So
if you compare what I'm doing to what some of my friends in more traditional routes are doing, I am going faster, I'm making more money, I'm being more productive. And it's not that they aren't, but I just have that freedom that I can test things out, and I can try things out, and I can work at a faster pace. So instead of putting a book out every year, I'm putting out one or more every month, which is pretty.
Yeah.
I know, that's a bit overwhelming, but I started out slower. I did every few months at the beginning, and now I'm up to at least one a month, usually like 2. Not that they're all like full-length books. Some of them are short stories and novellas, and some of them are in anthologies, but it's pretty cool.
That is cool. So have you ever experienced writer's block, and do you have any advice for getting out of it?
Usually I do not. However, right now, right this very moment, I am. I think this is probably the first main time that I've had it. I definitely had it where I've been sitting there and, for 5, 10, 20 minutes, I cannot figure out where I'm going. And that's a little bit of a problem. But back in the day when I first started, years and years ago, so for those of you that don't know me, I've been published for just over a year now. I had worked with a couple of different publishers, and I turned down a couple different contracts, and I just got out of the business. I wasn't in the business, but I didn't walk into the business for a solid year after the last contract I turned down, and then I jumped in. But back in the day when I had first started writing, before I had started querying different publishers, I actually used to work on multiple projects at once. So when I hit a wall with this one, I could bounce over to this one and write for an hour, a day, 2 days, however long it took to figure out what the problem was with the first book. So I really liked the idea of working on 2 books at once back then. Now I would not do that for the most part. I very much keep my stuff streamlined, and I have to get it done. So if I come across a block, if I can't figure it out, I will give myself a few minutes to try to work it out. Then I will get myself up, and I will actually make laps around my kitchen island, and I will just walk in different directions to try to get things going. And I will talk things out verbally. I will be very loud about it, and I will figure out what my problem is. And within 5, 10, 20 minutes, I usually figure that out. That does not work for everybody. And if it does not work for you, my suggestion to you is actually going to be to go do something else creative that is not writing. So go do a photo shoot, create some pottery, make some kind of arts and crafts, do something that's engaging your mind in a creative way, but is not writing. And I have recommended this to all of my students because I teach authors, and it works for just about all of them. I don't actually think anybody has said that it hasn't worked, but it's a very great way to keep your mind engaged, keep the juices flowing, but it's not writing, so it engages you in a different way while still being creative, and usually you figure it out at that point.
Okay, that makes sense.
I've learned along the way. Hey guys, if you have questions for me or for Jessica, go ahead and let us know in those comments below. We'll answer them when we're done.
Yeah. And maybe we'll use those questions for the giveaways.
I like it. I like it.
We're just making ideas up as long as we go.
Yeah, absolutely.
So are there any like writing books that you've used to help improve in your writing?
I have not actually read any writing books, which is probably a bad thing. But I do a lot of teaching. So I feel like when I'm doing my studying, I actually look at this. I look at marketing. I look at other creative types of things. So for me, I don't actually have any recommendations for writing. Sorry, guys. Unless you want to come hang out with me over at Reading Transforms, where I used to educate authors. I've got a ton of content there for you guys to read or to watch. And other than that, I would say my advice to you is to study business and to study marketing, because that is what's going to help you as an author. It's really important for you to understand the craft of writing, but it's so essential for you to also understand marketing and business. So don't discount that when you are doing your studying, as you are planning what you're doing in your author career.
Oh yeah. I took a business math class and I feel like that has helped me with a lot of things.
Right.
It's just like, it wasn't really math, but it taught me a lot about like business and everything. And so I feel like that would definitely be helpful when it comes to like writing and stuff.
Absolutely. Because, I mean, at the end of it, once you have written your book, you then have to figure out what you're going to do. Whether you are indie publishing it or you're trying to get a traditional publishing contract, you have to market your book to readers, to people who are going to buy your book, to publishers, to agents, whoever you're working with. You have to learn to market it. You have to learn how to be in business. And even once you have a contract, even if you are with the biggest publisher in the industry, you are in charge of you, and you have to take care of your business, because they're not going to take care of you. So you have to know how to run your own business and your own brand. And if you don't understand that, you're probably not going to succeed as well as you could.
Yeah, that makes sense. So which of your books has taken the longest for you to write?
Oh, gosh. Well, I have a big stack of my books right here. I'm trying to look at it to see what took the longest. I mean, when I started writing, I had 2 books that I wrote that are not currently published before I wrote Golden. And I would probably say, because I was just getting into it, I was just figuring out what everything was, and I had absolutely no idea what I was doing. Those probably took a little bit long. So of the ones that I've written, Golden took longest only because it was the first and I was still kind of figuring out what I was trying to do within that story actually works. Other than that, I write really, really fast and I just knock things out. Like, I can do a couple books in a month if I want to, which please don't try, because you could potentially burn out that way if you're not built to write really, really fast. But
yeah,
I mean, I just write them really fast. So I guess in terms of the fact that I was still trying to figure out how writing creatively worked, probably Golden.
Oh, okay. This is one question that I didn't even write down, but I was kind of curious. When you have finished a book, how long does it usually take to actually get it out? Like, does it take a while for it to actually get published, or is it just like you just put it out whenever it is ready?
Well, it depends. It depends on what your team is like. So once you have your book written, you then need to self-edit it. So you have to go back, you have to look for plot holes, you have to look for all those grammar and spelling issues. You got to make sure everything is as polished as you can possibly get it. And then at that point, you have to have a professional look it over. So I actually recommend having more than one person look it over. So even if you're working with a professional, and you should be, you do need to have other people look it over, because they will miss things. It is just the reality of the situation. They are going to miss things, and you're going to need at least one more person to check it over to catch those things that they missed while they were reading your 75,000 word novel. So at that point, it becomes, who are you waiting on in your team? How long does your editor take? How long does your cover designer take? How long does your formatter take? And then, do you want to put it on pre-order? So most places allow you to have pre-order for up to 3 months. So I mean, it really depends on your schedule and how often you want to release. Some people wait until they have the entire series and then they'll release one a month. Some people write fast enough that they can release one a month. Some people want to wait 90 days. Some people want to wait 180 days. Some people want to wait an entire year. So it really depends on you and your business plan. For me, I just have to wait on my team. So I go through my portion of editing everything up, getting everything ready, and then I'll send it off to my editors. And once they get it back to me, for the most part, I get to do my own covers and I get to do my own formatting because I'm a professional photographer and designer. So I get trusted to do a lot of that. And so I just have to wait on them to finish their part of it, and then I can do my part of it. And that doesn't take me too terribly long. So usually for me, if I'm waiting on my editors, sometimes they take between a month and 2 months to get things back to me. So, but other times they are like, 5 days here, it's back to you. So I've definitely had stuff that has had a very quick turnaround time and stuff that has a little bit of a longer turnaround time just because you have to wait on all the moving parts. So in general, anywhere between a month to a couple of months if you are doing something that is kind of a quicker release schedule.
Yeah. Okay. So do you have any books that are about to come out or maybe in the works or something?
Oh, do I? You're so cute. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. So, at this point, I am wrapping up my Siren Wars Saga series, which is my mermaid series. If you can hear my puppies, I apologize. Something must have caught their attention outside. So I'm finishing up my Siren Wars Saga series. This is the third and final book in Selena's story. So this is an ongoing saga. It's going to have books 4, 5, 6, so on and so forth, because I'm going through a number of different mermaids. But each mermaid is getting her own trilogy within the series. So I'm wrapping up her story. It's called Beyond the Shores. And this comes down, this comes down. Sorry, I was looking at the comments there. This comes out on July 31st. And then after that, I will be doing the first 3 full-length books in the Legends Chronicles, which is my Little Miss Muffet retelling. They are hackers. It's amazing. I have the 2 free novellas out right now. But those books will be coming out in the fall. Assuming everything goes well. I do have and I haven't admitted this to anybody yet, I do have a Cinderella retelling coming out this summer. It's kind of amazing. It's kind of a huge twist. I do have the Revolution of Jack Frost coming out this fall. That one is going to be dang good. There's a weather machine that's out of control, and the only one that can stop it is Jack Frost. It's very interesting. It's very sci-fi, and I just love it. And then I also have a villain retelling anthology coming out this fall. So I have a twisted version of Hansel and Gretel, and we get to see a different look at the witch from that story. I'm very excited for that one. And then in 2019, I basically have a book a month again. I've got a brand new, and I can't tell you what it is yet, but I have a brand new retelling series that is steampunk. So it's a retelling and it's steampunk, but I can't tell you what it is yet. And then I've also got a couple others that I have not decided that this is my next step, but I'm pretty sure it is. So I've got a lot of retellings, basically, is what's happening in my life right now.
Well, retellings are awesome, so.
I know, and they sell well. So I'm all about that. I've done a lot of testing, and I will say that my retellings are selling better than my dystopians and right now my mermaid books, but that is also because the final book in the series of the mermaid one isn't out yet, and they don't sell well until the full series is out. So, here's a little pro tip for you guys. If you are writing, be thinking ahead as you are marketing your books. You're not going to be making a ton of money on your series until all the books are out, because some buyers don't want to get an entire series until the entire series is out, or they don't want to get the first book until the entire series is out because they've been burned by other authors who never finished their series. So they wait until it's all out. Fun fact there.
Well, that and a lot of authors you have to wait a whole year before another book comes out, and then by then you're you either lose interest or you don't want to have to reread everything because you've forgotten what happened. And so,
I'm not gonna lie to you. Yeah. I have 2 series that I really, really like, and within the last year or so, the final books have come out, but it took so long that I have been so far removed from it that I haven't taken the time to finish the series yet. And one of them was my all-time favorite series ever, and then another one was one of my top series, and the books are out. I just haven't taken the time to read them because it took over a year to get the books out. So
Now you've got me curious. What are they?
well, I have talked about them before, but having kind of thrown that out there in not the best light, I'll DM you.
Okay. Okay, now you have a question in the comments.
All right, it says, does music ever help calm you down and really focus on writing? Are you saying that I'm not a calm person? That's a joke. I'm not. I am a calm person. I just don't sound like it. I sound like Lorelai Gilmore on coffee all the time. So I'm very aware of this. I embrace the Lorelai in me. But in terms of music, as I'm writing, typically I need to write when it's quiet. I don't typically like it. If I am listening to music, it usually has to be instrumental, or it has to be something I have binge listened to so much that I can just turn it into white noise in my brain. Otherwise, I sing along with it and I accidentally type the lyrics into my stories. And that's a problem. So I will listen to something like Lindsay Sterling. She's got that beautiful violin music. So that is something I will listen to. I will admit that I've listened to the Greatest Showman soundtrack enough times that it can be considered white noise in my brain. I don't have to sing along to it, or I can sing along to it without processing the words into my story. So for the most part, I don't listen to music, but on occasion, I do need something to kind of focus me in on that, and I will listen to more along the lines of Lindsay Sterling instrumental music.
I will be honest, with the Greatest Showman soundtrack, it's like, I've listened to it so many times that I know all the words, and then I'll randomly get one of their songs stuck in my head, and I'll be texting somebody, and end up texting them a lyric, and they'll be like, what?
That's hilarious. I don't think I've ever accidentally texted a lyric, but now I'm going to, just because you've put that idea in my head.
Because I'd like read it over, and then I'd be like, oh, I sent that.
Oops. Well, I'm gonna tell you this, guys. This is a little bit of a confession. What was I doing? I think I had just gotten off of a live broadcast, and I was listening to another video, or I was doing something, and I went to tell my artist that I was off of my broadcast, but I was also thinking of something else, and I typed the wrong word to her. So I meant to say that I was done, or I was finished, or I was off air, and I typed the word lame. And I just said the word lame. I'm not sure why. It wasn't in the song. It wasn't in the videos that I was talking about. I hadn't used that word. It was nothing that I had just recently heard. But that was the word that came out of my fingers. And I caught it after I had sent it, but before she had read it. I'm like, no, that was not what I meant. Not what I meant. So she laughed at me. It's a thing, unfortunately. Sometimes I get a little distracted.
Yeah, I think we all do. It's like, I swear, if you hear the thunder, I'm so sorry. It's like really bad.
I can't hear it, but it's starting to get dark here too. Like, if you've noticed the shift in my light, all of my natural light has gone away right now.
Yeah, like, it's insane. It sounds like, and my cat is asleep on the floor.
Oh. I do that sometimes. Have a song stuck in my head and accidentally type it into a text. You do it too. Okay, well, now it's just going to be kind of like a group thing. All of us are going to do it from now on.
Yeah. Like, I think with your thing, it was like, you were so distracted by a lot of things at once, and so it's like just a random word popped out, and like you weren't even thinking of it, it just came out.
I have no idea where it came from, and I'm just looking at it, I'm like, why did I type lame? I wasn't lame, the event wasn't lame, the live broadcast wasn't lame, talking to my artist wasn't lame, but I guess something was. It was pretty.
I'm usually lame, so if I was gonna type that, I'd just be like, oh, never mind, it's true.
In some contexts, it actually would have worked for me, because my artist and I will just type random words to each other and like, oh, that's lame, whatever.
Yeah.
But it didn't in that one. It was just a random thing. I don't know.
Okay, so there's no more new questions, but you want to talk about the giveaways then?
Sure.
Right.
So I'm super excited because we're giving away ebooks. Did you have a way that you wanted to give those away? Did you have somebody you wanted to do that to? Oh, we got a question. Would you consider writing a retelling of The Evil Queen in the future? The Evil Queen as in Snow White, my dear? Is that what we're talking about, that Evil Queen? I have one of those. I do. I do have one of those. I have actually held on to this, and my fans don't really know this yet. That I have the most epic Snow White retelling ever. No one has thought of this twist. And back in the day when I was actually querying publishers to potentially publish my books before I figured out that I really wanted to go in this other direction, I had put it out there, just put out a couple of feelers on this, and they came in masses to get their hands on a copy of this book. And I had a bunch of people who really wanted it, and I turned them all down. So at this point, I have this epic retelling. I am still deciding what I'm doing with it because it is a standalone instead of a series. And in the indie world, standalone doesn't sell as well as series. So I'm trying to decide, do I turn it into a series? Do I have some kind of collection? Or do I offer it up to potentially something else? So I am trying to figure out what I'm doing with that, but it is the most epic. You've never seen it before. Everybody, every agent, every publisher that heard about it came crawling to my door to get their hands on this. So yes, darling, I do have one. I just can't tell you what's happening with it yet because I have not decided.
I would say, like, if it's just something that you genuinely want to publish, it shouldn't. Well, it probably does matter about, like, the whole marketing thing, but I'm just saying, it's like, if it's something that you genuinely just want to put out, just put it out and let it do its thing.
Interestingly enough, this is one I'm okay with kind of just hanging on to for the moment, and I'm kind of okay with giving it away to a publisher if it's the right fit and it's a bigger publisher. So I have very specific qualifications if I'm going to do something like that. I just kind of have to figure it out. But it's not one of those, like, I love it. It's great. It's amazing. My fans are going to die when they see it. But for me personally, it's not like it's my favorite baby in the entire world. You can't see me, but I'm actually petting my pile of books next to me right now. Yeah.
If I had any books, I would do the same thing.
These are, like, I'm just gonna kind of hold up. These are just a couple of mine. I have 15 books out now. The new Siren Wars book that comes out at the end of the month, that's number 16. By the end of this year, I think my Jack Frost is technically slated to be my last one this year, and that's number 22, 23, something like that. So that's half my pile. The other half is over there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it gets heavy to hold it up, and I can't really get them all on screen. But I didn't know what I was going to be holding up, so I definitely put, like, the main books right next to me so I could grab them. But the other ones are, like, over arm's length away.
Yeah. So, since you have to go soon, the giveaway, I'd say just maybe follow us or something.
Okay. Well, so here's the deal. You want me to do this? Because I can do this.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm the queen of giveaways, guys. It's all good. So here's the deal. We want to hear from you guys. I know that some of you have been here with us live, and we're so excited about that. We would love for you to follow both of us. So I know some of you came to us from one or the other of us, but we would love to interact with you. I'm a super social person, so I would love for you guys to come hang out, comment on some pictures, DM me. Let's be friends. You don't have to read my books. We can literally just be friends. But I would love to hear from you. So go ahead and follow both of us. We definitely have some people leaving questions, which we had mentioned before would be a great way to do some of these giveaways. So we're going to give you just maybe 2 more minutes to go ahead and ask me some questions. And then we're going to go through the questions, and we are going to pick the most creative questions. And one of you will get the Siren Wars, and one of you will get a copy of Jaded. And then, of course, we've got the Rafflecopters afterwards. So I'm good for a few more minutes. I'm technically good for a little bit. I think I've got some people coming over. I'm not quite sure when they're coming over. So if we go over in time, that's okay. Just be aware it might get a little loud if my puppies realize somebody's showing up here. But go ahead, ask your questions if you want to win copies of Jaded and Siren Wars, which are down here somewhere in my pile. Lots of fun things. And hey, while we're doing that, let me give you just a little bit of information on where you can find some of my other books that happen to be free right now. Yay, we like free books, right? So if you are interested in any of these fun retellings, or the dystopians, or the mermaid books, or the fun, fabulous cyberpunk things that we're doing, you can actually look me up on social media. It's k.m.robinsonbooks.com and at k.m.robinsonbooks on all the social media platforms. And then if you go over to the buying platforms to look at books, you will find that the first book in the Golden Trilogy is free. You're going to find that the first book in the Jada duology is free. We'll find that both of my Little Miss Muffet, Little Bo Peep spider retellings are also free. And then you will also find that the Mermaid anthology that I'm in that has the origin story to my Siren War saga and my retelling of The Little Mermaid with a dark twist is free. Lots of free and fabulous things. You'll also be able to check out my Virtually Sleeping Beauty. You'll be able to check out the Siren Wars. You'll be able to check out some of the other cool things that I am doing over there as well. And all you have to do is look me up, K.M. Robinson, on the buying platforms. We got to come at this is lots of books. Yeah, lots of books, right? I'm a very busy little bee. Very, very busy. But we would love to hear from you guys. So if you have any other questions, now is a great time. I'm just kind of stalling and talking very quickly, just in case you guys have any comments, and we will let you guys know who is in fact winning, and we will DM you after the show today, because we're going to go back through. If you are on our rebroadcast, don't worry, you still have a chance by entering those Rafflecopter contests for 2 different ebooks. It's going to be really good. We're going to have lots and lots of fun giving those away as well. And like I said, lots of free books out, so you can test me out if you want to see if it's a good fit for you.
Yeah. And once the broadcast is over, I'll send you the links for the Rafflecopters, and you can post it on your Instagram, and I'll post it on my Instagram, so everybody can still have a chance to go check them out.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And if you need those, you can DM me. I can DM those to you so that they're active links as well. And so all you do is click on them. So that'll save you a step if you need it, guys.
Yeah.
I'm all about making things easy for people to enter contests and all of that loveliness.
Oh, yeah. So I'm just a book blogger, so if you guys want to, talk to me and ask me questions about blogging, that's cool. I have lots of information. I'm, a very smaller book blogger. I've only been blogging for 2 years. So, yeah.
But it's so much fun, right?
Oh, yeah. I don't really have a set schedule. I tried to get one, but it's just anytime I want to post something, I just post it. It's not oh, I'm going to post something every Friday. I tried doing that and that didn't work.
I think book blogging is very, very fun. I've got the opportunity to work with a lot of different reviewers and book bloggers and booktubers, and it's just so much fun for me as an author to do things like these live broadcast interviews. So guys, here's what I want you to do if you're hanging out. Go over to her page when we're done and let her know who else you would love to do an interview with. You posted a photo of me, right? To let them know that this was okay. Go to that particular image in her Instagram feed, and I want you to say, hey, I loved the interview. I would love to see you interview mention the author, so that they are tagged in it, so that they know that they should come hang out for an interview over on her page, and they can do some really cool fun stuff just like this as well.
Yeah, because this was really fun, and I like interviewing authors and getting to know everyone's different author stories. It's pretty fun.
Right? It's so much fun. I actually did an author interview over on my author Facebook page earlier this morning. I'm starting a brand new series of author interviews because I've got some kind of really big, wonderful plan in the works that I can't tell you guys about, but it's going to be good if it works. And so I actually got the opportunity to do an interview and switch positions where I was not answering the questions, but I was actually asking the questions. That was pretty fun. So, P.S., just a side note, if you need more authors to interview, I know them all. I can connect you. We've got some comments coming in. Would you do a book with all of the characters from all the characters? Oh, so like a crossover. Would I do a crossover between all bazillion of my books? I have actually been asked this question before, and I've paused to consider it. I feel like that would be really, really cool. But they're in very, very different worlds. So the world of Golden is very different than the world of Virtually Sleeping Beauty, which is a little bit more contemporary. It's not contemporary. It's more like a dystopian. But it's very different in where they're set, what they're wearing, what they're doing, how they're speaking, how they're acting. And so I'm not quite sure a crossover would actually work. But I will tell you this much. If you focus on my blog and what I'm putting out over there, I do have some like crossover-y type things between my character text conversations and blog posts. So I kind of treat them as if my characters are actors in their books. And then at the end of the stories, they're kind of in this big world together, and they'll do like a New Year's Eve party together. So that was definitely a blog post at one point. And so there is some crossover. It's just not in book form. This interview was awesome. I learned a lot. Well, thank you so much. I'm glad to see that you were here, and that we're not all that far from each other in where we live. That's pretty dang cool. I always love meeting new friends, so I'm super glad that you are here as well.
Yeah.
All right, guys. If you have anything else that you want to say, now's the time, because we are going to wrap this up. Do you have a specific way that you want to wrap this up, or you want me to just kind of give my social links and let you do your thing?
That's fine.
Okay, so for those of you who are hanging with me and you are new to me, I'm K.m. Robinson. I'm the author of the Golden Trilogy, the Jaded Duology, the Legends Chronicles, Virtually Sleeping Beauty, the Sinking, the Goose Girl and the Artificial, the Revolution of Jack Frost, the Siren War Saga, and a whole bunch of other books that are out and coming out soon. You can find me at k.m.robinsonbooks.com, where I have world portals for all my different series. You can see behind the scenes, you can see videos, there's fan art, there's character art, there's interviews. It's just an amazing place, and I'm currently right in the middle of a website makeover. So all the information on the site now is going to be revamped. So if you want to see behind the scenes of why I chose to do Goldilocks the way that I did, or why I chose to make this character this way, and this, that, and the other thing, now's the time, because some of the information is going to stay the same, but some of it is changing, and I swap that out pretty frequently on my website there. So go check that out. And at k.m. Robinson Books on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat. I just opened my brand new IGTV channel, and you can also hit me up on YouTube for rebroadcasts of these live broadcasts here on Instagram Live and Facebook Live. I have pre-recorded videos, fan Q&A. I've got all sorts of interviews. I've got trailers, fabulous stuff over on my YouTube channel, so come hang out with me over there as well. And I would love to hear from you guys. I love meeting new people, so say hey. Don't be afraid. Come say hello and direct message me and leave me comments and lots of love, and we'll just be besties when we're done with all this.
And I'm Jessica. I'm over at The Mortal Jessica. That's my blog. You can find the link to it in my Instagram page. It's themortaljessica.wordpress.com. And I got a lot of like reviews and tags and whatnot on there. It's fun stuff. So if you like that kind of thing, you can come check me out, and you can talk to me if you want to. You don't have to.
You don't have to, but you should.
Yeah. I'm generally a fun person.
This has been lots of fun. I've had a great time hanging out.
Me too. And I'm going to tell you a secret. So, like, I started reading Golden, and I was picturing all this weird stuff in my head, and I was like, this would be a great movie.
Thank you. That's so sweet. I would love for this to be a movie. That would be so fun. Like, honestly, I had this little movie running through my head when I was going through it. So I'm glad that you're enjoying it. This tends to be one that people are like, oh my gosh, I love it, or no, it's not for me. So I'm really glad that you liked it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not entirely finished with it yet, but it's pretty cool. And I'm just like,
don't hate me for the ending.
Oh Lord.
I'm known for my cliffhanger endings, and I'm a little mean. Sorry, guys. You're just gonna have to read the whole thing.
Well, I do like books like that, when they just kind of leave you hanging, because you're just like, I want the rest.
Yeah. No, I got a lot of comments for the ending of every single one of my books. There's not a single book I didn't that is in part of a series. Some of them are just standalone, so that's all wrapped up. But I wrap up the main story, and then I give you a little bit of a mean cliffhanger. So just be prepared when you read my books, guys. Don't hate. You're gonna like it. It's gonna be interesting.
I'll message you when it's done.
I love getting DMs from people as they're live reading it or when they finish reading it, assuming that they love it. So guys, if you are reading my books and you would like to direct message me while you are live, while you're reading it live, feel free, because it is super, super fun for me to see you yell at me for being mean to my characters. So.
I hope I don't get mad about it. I'm still reading it too, and I'm still loving it. Me too.
Yes. It's so much fun for me to see you guys as you are reading it. And you might get mad at me, but the good news is the entire Golden Trilogy, all 3 books and 2 prequel novellas, are out and available, and you don't have to wait to read them like my audience did back when I started a year ago. They had to wait. You don't have to wait. You can just keep reading through until the end.
And you can get them all in that giant bind up. Like, that's epic.
Yeah. So for those of you that are interested in this, I have all of them separate, but I also have the giant omnibus in both ebook and paperback, and the omnibus has a prequel novella that you can't get anywhere else. So it's book 1, book 2, book 3, a prequel novella that tells you how Goldilocks was trained to be sent on the deadly mission to destroy the bears, and then the prequel that's in here exclusively is how Dove ended up the way, so he's my baby bear, how he ended up in the position he was when Goldilocks comes crashing into his life. And we actually get to see people from his past that did not survive to the series. So people that are already dead when the series starts, we get to meet them in this prequel that's exclusively in the omnibus or the set on ebook form.
Oh, yeah. And do you want to talk a little bit about the book box thing, or is that just like a thing that we're keeping hidden for now?
No, we can talk about that. So I actually have a book box, which is super fun. I meant to bring it. I didn't. It's in my other room. But I have a book box. It is a custom, gigantic 9x9 box that has the entire omnibus series in there. The entire trilogy plus the 2 prequels are inside of this box. There's also a Dove scented candle. So my baby bear, there's a candle that smells like him. For those of you that are in love with Dove Bear, you're going to die over this candle. It's amazing. There's chapstick that is apple flavored. It tastes kind of like Deluria, which is Dove and Illyria, their ship name. There is a really cool necklace inside of it, which I'm pulling up now because it's cute and adorable, and it actually matches the sparkles on the cover. So if you look at the cover of the book, it matches. There's a flower crown, there's artwork, there's bookmarks, there's magnetic bookmarks, there's a ton of swag in it, and it costs the same amount as what other book boxes are going for, with only 1 book in it and a little swag. So this is 5 books, a ton of swag, same price as 1 book. So it's pretty fun. You can find it by going to goldenbookbox.k.m.robinsonbooks.com. And the cool thing about this is that this is a fundraiser. So we recently found out that both of my parents have cancer. My dad has stage 4 cancer. My mom just had her surgery. And thank goodness we got good news last night. They got all of it, they believe, from my mom. Thank goodness. But we are raising money because the insurance company isn't paying for a lot of their surgeries and their treatments. And so when you buy the book box, all of the proceeds go directly to their surgeries and their treatments. So not only do you get 5 books and all the swag, you are doing good in the world and you're changing my world. So if you want to check it out, goldenbookbox.k.m.robinsonbooks.com for more information. You can see everything in it, and there's some fun bonuses too.
Now I remember seeing that on your Facebook where you were talking about that. I'm so sorry.
No, that's okay. I have so much stuff that goes out on my social media. It's easy to miss stuff and it's easy to forget stuff. Your grandmother passed away from stage 4 cancer. Yeah, there's a ton of cancer in my family. Almost everyone that has passed away at this point has passed away from cancer. So it was a bit of a shock, especially because my parents are young. They're older than me, obviously, but they're not necessarily old enough to be going through some of this stuff. They are a bit younger, so it was definitely shocking to us. And then to have to go through all of these treatments and all of these different things, it's a lot. So this is kind of a nice, healthy, inspirational way of dealing with those things and kind of helping out. So thoughts and prayers are sent my way. Thank you. I appreciate it. It's been done so far. Not sure what you're saying there, boo. Not sure, but yeah.
Oh, she's like adding on to something that she said a second ago.
Gotcha. I see it. So happy and relieved that it's been caught for your mom. Yes. It was actually misdiagnosed for 3.5 years, so I'm really grateful that it did not grow and that we got that taken care of. And hopefully it does not come back and we don't have any other issues with that because we're still dealing with my dad. So yeah, our family friend had breast cancer and then she got an infection after leaving the hospital. Oh gosh, that sounds terrible. It's rough when you go in to have some kind of medical thing done and then you come out possibly worse than you went in, unfortunately, or you have something else to deal with as well. So thoughts and prayers there for that too. My goodness. Unfortunately, cancer is one of those things that just affects so many of us, and there's so much of it in this world, and right now we don't really have a lot of answers for it. So it's really great to see all of these strides and these accomplishments in attempting to fix it. And we've got all these new trials and these new tests and things that are going on. And I will say, in terms of what my dad has gone through, they actually had some new drugs to go with his treatment, and he handled his chemotherapy so much better than most people do. Now, granted, my dad is kind of exceptional at doing this thing, and he, even other people who are on that same drug, he excelled in how he responded to it. He was not nearly as sick as most people, but that is a testament to my dad and how he is as a person. But these new drugs, even in the last couple of years, have radically changed how people are responding to the chemotherapy being put into their bodies. So over the years, they're doing really cool things. And while we're not there yet, I love seeing these different strides in it. Great aunt had cancer 3 times and it's been cleared. Oh, good. I'm so glad to hear that. And your friend was she is only 25. It's like everyone is getting cancer. I know, and younger too. So let this be a lesson to all of us. Take care of yourselves. And don't put yourselves in situations where it could potentially be worse. Wear your sunscreen. Don't stay out in the sun too long. All of that loveliness.
Don't
I know.
go in tanning beds.
Obviously, there's some kinds that you can't really prevent, but do what you can to prevent what you can.
Yeah.
And you're right. Cancer does suck, I'm seeing. Yep, for sure. Absolutely. But we're working together and we're getting it figured out. What was that?
I was saying that at least there's all this research that's coming out because it's really helping a lot of people.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And there's so many different kinds too. So we're making great strides in different areas. And one day there will be a day when we don't have to deal with it. But for now, we can do fabulous things like getting involved in cancer research, fundraising, and doing things like getting involved in my book boxes, which I know is totally self-serving, but it's an example of getting involved and helping out. So I'm just saying. Plus you get I'm a big fan of swag and books and fabulousness. Well, I actually just had an author who purchased one of the book boxes, and she just closed her international contest on it, so it's not available anymore. But the winner lives in Pakistan, so one of them's going to Pakistan, guys.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. And for those of you who are following along with this, I also have a Mermaid Box. I did just pull it, so the people who got the Golden Box had early access to it. That is now pulled, so if you're interested in that, with the seashell crowns and the shell candles and all of the maps and artwork and amazing things inside of the Mermaid Box, stay tuned, because I will be putting that back out on the market soon. We're announcing it formally in the next couple of weeks, but if you want early info on that, DM me, and I will show you the stuff that's in it. Making a couple of tweaks to the box, because it's a different box